Do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
Oh man, it's Friday night, and the feeling's right. I don't remember what the words were to Montel Jordan. This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. It's Friday night, and the feeling's right. The party's here on the west side.
I think so. All I know is that I reach for my 40 and I turn it off. Designated Shorty's got the keys to my truck. That's right. Hi everybody. For those who don't know what this is, like Rob Humphrey, this is the Mark Order Podcast here on a Friday night bonus show. A supersized edition of the Money Crew show here on a Friday night because there was a Battle of the Belts special tonight. But I was specifically told that my co-host tonight wasn't talking Battle of the Belts if we can't talk about Rampage for like an hour and a half and just one match that was on Rampage.
Yeah, that's just one.
So it's this one. It's Mrs. Money's here tonight. She's the co-host for the evening.
Yes.
Because somebody else who's normally here is doing something that's competing with us. But you don't need to watch that.
No, none of that. No.
You don't need to see the other stuff. We're not talking SmackDown here. We're just getting to the good stuff.
We watch the good stuff. Only the good stuff, right, Saviana?
That's right. That's right. And well, David Bauer does say, Bauerhausen says he spots a sleepy dog. Yeah, there she is. There she is. And don't turn your camera much further that way because it looks like a hoarder house over there.
Yeah, it does. Sorry.
With all my boxes stacked up in the corner.
Yeah, my dresser is really messy over here. But you see Mr. Avocado.
Avocado's looking good.
Avocado on loan from Baby Money. Really nice of him.
That's right. Yeah, Mr. Reese's cup is sitting on the other side of the room.
Mr. Reese's. He's pretty chill too.
So, Mrs. Money, before we jump into the events of this evening, would you like to let people know where we were last night?
So we had a little Discord meet and greet with the only @Asian Joe, who we have all chatted with through the Mark Order podcast and also through Shining Wizards. Shining Wizards Matt was with us as well, along with Kate the Great, and you and me. So it was a really good time. I had a great time at dinner, had some spicy watermelon margs and some deviled eggs, and just had a great time with everybody. It was really fun. It's nice to meet internet friends in person. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. It was great getting to meet Asian Joe in person. Asian Joe, who's in the chat, says such a niece simp.
I really am. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Ready? All right, calm yourself. Asian Joe, if you think that's great, calm yourself. Think about other stuff.
I can't.
Think about other stuff. Just
very difficult.
Because we have to do it.
I know.
We have to do it this way. Ready? Just calm yourself. Oop, that's not the way I wanted to do it. Calm yourself here.
Yeah.
Okay. Tony Nese. You're trying not to break now because usually just there it is. Okay.
Shut up.
Okay, there it is.
I thought you had him on the phone or something. I was starting to sweat. I'm like, God, I don't want him to know I was terrible, horrible simp crush on
No,
him. It's
usually
horrible.
just saying the name Tony Nese in Mrs. Money's presence will will
Usually it
elicit.
got me sweating.
That's right.
I got a little nervous. I thought he was like gonna pop up on the line and be like, "Hey Gina, I hope you lost weight this week on
No.
450 Fit." And I'm like, "I did, Mr. Neese.
I mean,
Thank you
yes, you
very
did.
much."
Not no, you didn't.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Um.
No, I did.
So
Lost
yes,
point 0.8 this week. So
good stuff.
yeah.
We met up with Asian Joe. Rob Humphrey is right. Ryan couldn't be bothered. That is absolutely true. And Asian Joe, I know, was in town to see Rutgers, Nebraska tonight. Asian Joe must have been biting his fingernails because it was a 14-13 game in favor of his Nebraska.
Yeah, he told me it was a close one. He said it was raining a little bit too.
Oh, was it? It's
Yeah, it
been
was so
really nice
nice up
here.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Rutgers maybe is like what, 45 minutes, an hour from us?
Yeah, but well south.
Well, yeah, but still.
So so yeah, that was a lot of fun last night, and like
Mhm.
Mrs. Money said, some of the Mark Order pod was there. It was great to see Millionaire Matt, even though he's not here most weeks because he's working. We got to see him for a little bit last night, and Kate the Great did make it out. We were
Mhm.
taking bets, but she did make it out,
She did.
and
She did. I think before 9:30 too, which was pretty great.
yes, yeah. Although it was very close, we had a lot of bets going on,
I was
and
already a couple margaritas deep at that point.
it's all right. Doesn't make you a
I was
bad
all right.
person.
No, no, on a school night though. I mean, I was kind of living dangerously, but I was okay.
Well, the worst part, like I said yesterday, the worst part was um it felt like a Friday, which made things terrible this morning because I
Yeah.
really didn't want to get up.
Yeah,
And I was
same.
stone sober, so that says,
You had
Uh
no excuse.
Asian Joe did have a question for us, Mrs. Money. Did he rank among one of the bigger Asians you've met?
Well, Joe, I'm really short, so everyone is taller than me. But and it's funny, like I didn't realize how tall you were until I saw the picture of us after the fact. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
But I'm 5'2", so for me, 90% of adults I meet are taller than me.
Asian Joe, I'll say you do rank among the bigger Asians that I've met. So you're on the Mount Rushmore in my book.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was a lot of fun, and
The restaurant
you
was
know,
really nice.
the restaurant was nice, but I said it, I think, on Twitter. Follow me at AntMoney. I don't do much on there, but I said on Twitter, it looks like I've got a few fans since I got to meet Bauerhausen last week and Asian Joe this week. But more importantly, it's cool that these people have, really become friends. Sucks
Yeah.
that Bauerhausen's moving to Texas. I mean, great for him, but it sucks because we finally got to meet up and spend some one-on-one time together. Same thing with Asian Joe. Sucks that he was only in town for a little bit, but really great that we've gotten to meet them through this community of pro wrestling, and now they're friends. So
Yeah,
yeah, great to see you guys in person, and we will certainly do it again in the future.
definitely.
And for anybody who's looking to book Aunt Money for a personal appearance, can get at Mrs. Money. She's coordinated both of these meetings.
Yep, just
And
find me on the Discord and we'll make it happen.
for both of them, I was like, it's just us. Like, people want to do things with just me. That can't be true. Because nobody courts Aunt Money, but that's fine.
No, they court
That's fine.
me. Duh.
That's true. It's very true. All right. So what else is going on, Mrs. Money? Since last we saw you, it was Battle of the Belts 3. Now it's Battle
Yes.
of the Belts 4.
4.
So anything you'd like to bring up? I don't mean to put you on
Like
the spot. Anything you'd like to
wave-wise?
bring the people up about?
Let me see. When was Battle of the Belts 3? I'm trying to like think back. I'm like looking at the calendar to
Sometime,
see like what's happened since then.
I'd imagine it was sometime
Oh,
last quarter.
it was before our vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Wildwood for vacation for a week, which was really nice. And then what else did we do? We saw Rammstein, and that was amazing because I love them. Our son started kindergarten, which was a really big deal. We went to Chicago for Riot Fest, which was also a big deal.
Trying to think if I
And
told stories about any of these things on the air, but I don't
I'm
remember.
not sure, but those were like the big things. And then let's see. And then, like, for me, like, personal-wise, like, my 450 Fit thing that I'm doing with Mr. Tony Nese, I am down 32 pounds now
Boom!
as of this week. So that's
Svelte.
in almost 6 months, I'm down 32 pounds. So it's been
It's
a
a lot of hard work.
not an ad, but fantastic program. He's really wonderful to work with and, has really, like, changed my life for sure. So,
And you're
you know,
smitten every time he's like, "Do 50 push-ups." You're like, "Yes,
I'm like,
sir."
"Okay, I'll do 100."
Wait, that's not smitten. That's something
What?
worse.
What? What's worse than being smitten?
I don't know, you're like, "Whatever you say, daddy."
No, he's not daddy.
Oh, that's right, that's Christian, sorry.
Christian's daddy.
You're like, "Yes, sir, punish me."
I don't say that.
But you're
I'll look at my
thinking it.
messages. I have not ever said that. He's very
Well,
nice.
I'll say this because, I know that I've certainly talked about Riot Fest. Bauerhausen confirmed that here. Um, I don't know if I talked about Rammstein, and I'm not gonna go off on a long thing. Here's the 2 things worth mentioning about Rammstein
You're gonna be a hater, and I'm gonna pop this
when we
bottle of
saw them. Pouring
champagne.
more than 2 things. No, no, no.
Why?
It's not a hater.
Oh, can I pop this?
It's not. Go ahead. I'm saying
Okay.
it's not. I'm not hating. Um, so the few things that I had to say about it, we saw it in the pouring fucking rain.
Yeah.
Um, but it was okay because we had good ponchos and got that. You okay over there?
Mhm.
Okay. This
I'm
is
right
an
on
audio
top of that,
medium, so
Rose.
nobody, nobody's not.
I hope everybody saw that the dog gave me this really stank face
She's like, come on.
look. She's like, "Do you
Um,
mind? Do you mind? I'm trying to take a nap here while you're slurping on prosecco, you
so it was
hobo."
pouring rain when we saw Rammstein. And
Yes.
we were in the fire zone, and my
Yes.
critique of the fire zone, even though it was raining, I mean, they the ads online were like, bring your SPF because it's gonna be hot. You're in the fire zone. There could have been more fire. I'm just saying. That's the only thing. There could have been more fire. And the opener was weird, and I'm not the only one who thought that. The opening act they had were 2 French ladies who sat dueling piano style at 2 separate pianos and played Rammstein cover songs before Rammstein.
It was
Um,
fantastic. It's like you got, like, a little bit of Rammstein, like, the whole night.
but they played songs that Rammstein played.
I came to see Rammstein and to hear Rammstein songs, so it was exciting to hear them in both the music before, the opening band, and then the actual band. I thought it was great. Hater.
It was just weird to me. And the only other weird thing was seeing Jerry Only of the Misfits out of, stage
Out of
costume.
character.
Right. But
He
it
just looked
was,
like a regular scrub like you and me, except
yeah, but
his hat was branded like Jerry Only.
well, everything was branded. The Misfits jacket, the Misfits hat, and it had his own name on it. Gordon Post says I talked about all this. See, that's why I need the people to tell me about it. But yeah, that was it. And there you go, toasting to your 450 fit week.
Toasting to
Congratulations.
a win for Mr. Neese and Mr. Woods this evening.
Well, that's a great segue because as we said, we're going to talk about. Here's kind of what we're going to do. Normally, when we do this bonus show, we don't take a break. We're going to take a short break tonight just because we're going to talk about Rampage and then we're going to get into Battle of the Belts. So
We
we're
can't
going to.
stay on super late. I'm gonna fall
We're
asleep.
not. Well, I'm surprised you stayed up this late, but
I tried my best.
you blew
I
your
kept
load early in the evening.
What do you mean?
I mean, on Rampage, you got your match very early on.
I did. So then I
So
took a little nap.
let's talk about Rampage.
Let's talk about it. Let's chat.
Let's dive right in.
It was a pretty good episode
It
overall.
was.
I
So
like the
we
live episodes. They like have more energy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's but it's just difficult because we've talked about it here after Grand Slam on that Thursday is just when you do wrestling shows that go this late, it's hard to keep the crowd into it. Now, I also
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know what they did before the show tonight. I'm assuming they were filming something because you're not just going to get the arena for 2 hours from 10 to 12, right?
right,
So I'm assuming they filmed a bunch of stuff beforehand, but I have no clue.
right.
So, you know, I wonder if it was hard to keep the crowd like into it. I'm sure that it's live for these two shows helps, sort of like Dynamite, but either way, it's a long night. It's a late
It's
night
a
if you're there
really long
live.
late night, even though it's a Friday night, which kinda helps. I mean, when we went to Dynamite, it was challenging for Grand Slam because it was a Wednesday night. We had work all day that day, and we
Yeah.
knew we had work the next day, so it was like, it's not even like you get tired, you start thinking to yourself like, "Oh my god, I gotta go to work tomorrow, I gotta get home, I'm so tired," this and that, and it's just you start, like, getting concerned about that. At least this is a Friday, so you like, most people don't have to worry about work the next day, so you can kinda rally and be okay with it, be like, "Yeah, I'll drag ass tomorrow, it's Saturday anyway." But yeah, it's gotta be hard to keep the energy up. It was hard for me when we went. I was dead during Rampage, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, but see, and again, I don't know because I don't know what they did beforehand. If you're just taping a bunch of dark elevation stuff, like the crowd might not be super hot, right? So, like,
Right,
it might not be hard to have to pull them into it. Like, the difference between the show we went to at Grand Slam and tonight was they gave us the live show early and then they just taped everything. So it's almost
right,
like at that point later in the night, it's like it's taped. We don't need to, the crowd doesn't necessarily need to be into it. It's just being
right.
taped. But like
Sure.
tonight, you're taping before. Maybe people are showing up late because they know, it doesn't go live till 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
Um, and then you kind of just stay hot, for the show at that point because they're live later. So I don't
Right.
know. I mean, the crowd definitely seemed into it, and I'm with
Yeah.
you. I am certainly with you that the crowd seemed into it all night. And by the way, I was just checking on this too because I didn't know anything about tonight. The show started at 8 o'clock in
Mm.
DC, so
Wow.
I guess they were.
So it's a
um
4-hour show.
I mean, I guess they were taping Dynamite
Elevation and
or Elevation
Dynamite.
or
Why would they be
Not
taping
Dynamite,
Dynamite?
not Dynamite, excuse me, Dark and Dark
Mm.
Elevation.
That's a
So,
lot because I know just from previous tapings we've gone to, like, the dark stuff is like boom, 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 boom. There is no time to, like, breathe, because it's just, like, match after match after match, and then they maybe give you, like, 10 minutes before they roll into the show, you know what I mean? And then, like, after Dynamite, you get, like, 10 minutes before they roll into Rampage, and that's like go, 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 go. It's a lot. You don't really get an
yeah.
opportunity to take a breath, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll see in the coming week or weeks what they filmed before the show tonight on Dark and Dark Elevation. But they kicked off the show tonight with the Blackpool Combat Club of John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. So really early on, you're already getting the blood pumping with
Like,
Claudio.
way up there, yeah, yeah.
Versus Roosh and Private Party. And the
Mhm.
firm it should be noted that the firm was ringside, sort of watching what was going on in the match. Cutting to the end of this, Mrs. Money, Blackpool Combat Club did defeat Roosh and Private Party. During the match, it's unfortunate Mark Quinn did a 450 splash on the ramp, but it happened during a commercial. So not a lot of
Wah,
people probably
wah,
saw it.
wah,
Now I don't
wah.
know if it happened in the cutaway or if it happened in picture in picture, but I'm one of these people where when you go to picture in picture, if I got to go to the bathroom, I go to the bathroom,
Can
I get a
barely
drink.
see it, it's, like, this big.
Yeah,
I'm making my hands really small for anyone listening.
very true. Um but yeah, I mean, so there was some really good stuff that happened. Um, you know, there was some sort of you know, dissent in Private Party, tagging with Roosh. So we sort of had a lot of stories going on here. Claudio happened to do a swing. I think he had Quinn on his shoulders, and then he had Isaiah Cassidy swinging. That was a
Yeah.
pretty cool touch.
It was
Uh,
very cool. What do you mean pretty cool? That was extremely cool. I've never seen anything like that. The swing is impressive enough, but to have somebody on your back as well during the swing, and it wasn't like he just did it like one rotation. Like he went for it,
yeah,
and
I
it
don't
looked
remember.
good. He wasn't struggling.
Yeah, I don't necessarily remember him doing that before. I mean, watch Kyle K. Sparks probably gonna be like, nope, he did it 3 times in the WWE. But like, I don't recall seeing that. I think I've seen him once or twice, like swing two guys at the same time, right? Like stacked on top of each other or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But that was pretty cool looking here.
it was very
Um,
cool. Yeah,
Claudio also blocked the silly string, and then Wheeler was able to lock in an arm scissor submission, or I think they even called it an arm knife submission on Mark Quinn for the victory. It came sort of quick, and
yeah. I didn't
for
like how it ended. It was very abrupt to me because like
well,
we were going, and it was like, and it's gone. Like
that
it
wasn't
just.
necessarily a problem for me. The problem for me was it's not a common sort of submission finish, or not one that we've seen Yuta really use before.
Mhm.
Um, but if it was like an armbar or something like that, I think people would have sort of known what was going on.
We're like, oh, this is gonna end.
The way that it was locked in with the elbow sort of up, it looked like Quinn was actually fighting not to have his arm extended, and it didn't happen. So I think when he tapped, people were just kind of like, "What happened?"
Yeah, it was.
Um,
I didn't like how it ended. That's just
yeah,
me.
I don't know. Bauerhouse, or I'm sorry, Kyle K. Spark says, "I told you, I'm sure he has, but I can't recall a specific one. I don't remember him using the swing until he got to the WWE." Yes, and then Bauerhausen said they called it a forearm slicer or a bicep slicer. I thought they said knife. It's fucking midnight, so I don't know what you want me to do, people. But
It's
yeah, it
midnight for
was.
us, not for everyone
That's
listening.
true. Well, they know it's the East. We're in the East. The
I'm
beast
just
from the
saying.
East.
Just saying.
So yeah, I mean, all in all, I thought it was a fairly entertaining match.
Oh yeah, I'm not
It
saying it
just.
wasn't. I just didn't like the ending. The ending kind of was like more.
Do you think if they changed the submission hold to something that we've either seen Wheeler you to do, or something that was more common, like an armbar or something, that it would have been a better finish?
Maybe something a little more theatrical. Maybe it would have got me going. I don't
It
know.
is. It is hard.
You couldn't see
Um,
like anything. It was like he was like covered up completely almost.
it is hard though. Like when you have other guys who do such sort of dynamic finishes, like it is, I guess, maybe sort of hard to find something super dynamic. I mean, that's not infringing on somebody else, right? Like you're not going to do the little bell lock, you're not going to do the cattle mutilation. Danielson's kind of got those.
Right.
Mox has whatever choke he's got. The rear naked, I think he's sort of cornered. So I guess maybe Wheeler's you just trying to find something maybe that he can have as his, but yeah, it was just to me, I think it was because people didn't know sort of what that was, that maybe it sort of got lost. But the match. All right, let's move on to the next actually, we can skip the next one. It didn't matter. Oh, no. We really want to talk about the next one.
I've got a bone to pick with the next one.
All right, let's get through it first. We had Tony Nese and Josh Woods versus the Varsity Blondes. And man, Nese and Woods get the victory.
Yeah, I hit my glass on the microphone. I apologize to all of our dear sweet listeners.
It's okay. So Nese and Woods get the win. Woods again picking up the win for the tag team. Interesting enough, Arn Anderson was watching in the back, looking
Yeah,
disappointed in the outcome. I don't know. I know Arn Anderson's not really been on TV with AEW, so it just seemed like a
yeah, I
weird
was
place
like,
to pull Arn Anderson up. And
yeah,
then they almost made it seem like, what? It's Arn Anderson. Like, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
He's
Like, they
not.
didn't.
Is he tied to the Varsity Blondes in some capacity
If he
that I
is,
don't know
I
about?
honestly don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either. Someone in the chat, please let us know because I don't remember. I don't recall that being a thing.
Well, after the match, Mark Sterling gets on the mic, and in addition to him saying that his crotch has been his oh well, never mind. That's later in this. Sorry, guys. It's late, and I'm also looking at different notes. Sterling grabs a mic. He says he's trademarked the term varsity in professional wrestling, so the varsity blondes can't use it anymore. He actually gives the term to Woods and Nice and said their team name will now be the Varsity Athletes. And if Pillman and Garrison use it again, he'll sue them. He also complains that his crotch has been burning since Scissoring Day on Dynamite, and that's when the Acclaim comes out with Daddy Ass. They do the typical rap thing, scissor me Daddy Ass. The crowd's happy, and the heels sort of walk away. Now, a couple things, Mrs. Money. I think I'm gonna hit on most of your beefs here.
Okay.
No entrance.
Yeah, that's a big beef for me. A big one.
No entrance
Because they always
for
get screwed out of the entrance. I don't like that, and it's a nice entrance.
it's
It's
okay.
it's really nice. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's very nice.
It's okay.
It's like a
Um
10 out of 10.
it's all right.
It's
Um
amazing. You should see it
is
in person, it's even better.
is your second beef the team name they're going with?
Yeah, I don't like that. I think it's corny. However, I think Tony Nese can wear the fuck out of a varsity jacket, I'm sure. I just think it's kinda whack that it's almost like taking a name from another team, like, from another tag team. It's like, "Come on, like, you guys could do better than that." It just felt kinda sloppy to me. I don't
I
know.
think I think they're it's just a way to split up the varsity
Three
blondes or sort
Blondes.
of put that to bed.
Yeah,
But you want to know why I don't like it? I feel like it's a backward step. You're saying somebody's the premier athlete,
right.
and
Now you're
I
calling
don't
them varsity?
remember.
What is that? That's come on
Right.
now. That
Right.
seems lower.
That's sort of what that yeah, that's right. That's sort of what
Yeah.
I felt. Like you go from premier to varsity.
Well, I think he's
eh,
still the premier athlete, but together they are the varsity athletes. But still,
well, either way.
whatever. He'll always be the premier athlete to me and my shirt. So,
Well, what did you think of the match? This is your match.
well, I thought it was great because they won. I feel like every time they're on TV, I feel like they never win, and that kind of is disappointing because like they have these like matches on Dark and Dark Elevation, and they win. I mean, granted, it's, these poor guys that are debuting on AEW that they're beating, but that's why I feel like, every time they're on TV, it's like, they're eating shit and like it's like meaningless. It's like the wins are like meaningless on Dark and Dark Elevation because they're not winning on TV. So it was nice to see a win on TV for once. So that made me happy.
And over two guys who have been associated with like AEW not making their,
Right.
dark debut.
Right. But I do feel bad for the Varsity Blondes. Like I like them. I do like them. I don't know why they would split them up. I think they're a good tag team. I think they're fun.
Yeah, I mean, Pillman just hasn't really panned out, right? Like, I mean, we've talked about it on Wednesday nights, the normal night for the Mark Order podcast, but we've talked about it where it's like Pillman showed you a couple times like there is something there, and
Yeah.
then like he takes his three steps back, so Griff, on the other hand, I think I see upside in. He's a big guy. He's tall. He's not too broad, and he can move. Everything sort of looks good. But I just think maybe this has run its course, and they want to split it up.
Mhm.
Um, Now here's my other question for you, and
Mhm.
then we'll move on. But
Wait, why are we
um,
moving on so quickly? I thought this was
oh,
talking Tony,
I didn't
right?
know you had anything more to say. I'm
No,
going
there's
to
nothing
ask you
more to
about
say.
Tony. I'm going to ask you about Tony.
The
My
blue
question
and
for
gold,
Well,
chef
you know
kiss,
what's funny though? That to
Mamma
me
Mia.
seems like very varsity.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I don't know why, but that seems
They
varsity-ish to
wore
me.
that, at, Grand Slam?
Yes.
Not like I'm keeping track, but just saying.
No, you're right. They did.
Just-
But here's my question. Did you have a problem with Nice not getting the win and giving it to Josh Woods again?
No, because that's how it's been lately. I have no problem with that
So you
because
don't
it
have any
doesn't.
problem. You don't want the guy to get a pin at any point soon. He's getting pinned a lot. He's not pinning.
I know, but he will. He'll get his chance. I mean, how long do you think these guys are going to be a tag team for? Like, let's
I
be
don't know.
real. You know what I
They've
mean? Like, they have a shirt, so I don't know. I feel like it should be for like another couple months because there's a shirt. But I often wonder like how long because it's like a very like it works. The pairing works, but it just seems kind of odd at the same time. And I'm just waiting for it to kind of get busted up soon. For Josh Woods to kind of get out on his own, and like Tony's kind of helping with that. By letting him like get the pins and stuff.
well, I think
I do
I
like them
think
together though. I'm not like saying I don't.
no. But I think that if Ring of Honor were to go into existence with television like tomorrow, they would just be in Ring of Honor. And I
Why?
don't have a problem with that because they
Why?
need talent there, and I think they work well together, and they could do well for the Ring of Honor tag division.
But why Ring of Honor and not AEW tag?
AEW's tag division is just overflowing right now. I mean, Swerve and Our Glory is still a thing, and they were thrown together. I think they're breaking it up, here in the coming months. But
They have a T-shirt, so that's why.
I
That's why
mean,
they're staying together for a little bit. Gotta have
people
sell
buy.
a
You got to
T-shirt for a
stay
few
together
months.
for the kids, I guess. Yeah,
Stay
but
together for the sales.
I mean, it's just it's nothing to worry about because Ring of Honor television apparently is not even close to being final. But
I'm not
uh,
worried. We all
I
know
just
Tony Nese is all elite, so he got the graphic. It's fine.
yeah, but I mean, I don't. How long ago was that? I mean, we're at the point where a lot of
December.
these
It's
guys
been
are
almost a year.
only December. You sure it hasn't
Mhm.
been longer? Kyle K.
Yeah.
Sparks will fact check you on that one.
Yeah, I believe it was December.
Oh boy! All right.
Maybe November or December. I believe it was December.
Any closing comments on Neese and Woods before we move on?
Tony Nese is so hot. He's just so hot. That's all I've got. He's so hot.
No love for Josh Woods. All right, we see how it is.
I mean, I'm sure he's a very nice guy,
No,
but
no, no. He doesn't need your pity.
no, I'm not giving him pity. I'm just saying
Sounds
he's
like it.
probably a very nice person, but it's not my type.
Sounds like it. All right, moving on. We got a short video from Eddie Kingston, who's not happy about Paul Turner reversing the win over Sammy at Grand Slam. He's like, "What do you want me to say? I'm sorry." Oh, I guess I'm sorry. MJF gets 15 minutes. I only get 30 seconds. So Eddie's sort of continuing this line of thinking with MJF. Maybe we're lining up something with MJF and Eddie Kingston, but just be sure at this point, I think nobody's going over MJF. So,
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
for all the Eddie fans out there who think he's got a shot against MJF, if you want to see him beat MJF, don't do it right now. Just wait.
No. When do you think he's going to cash that chip in?
I think I said it the other day. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it at Full Gear.
Okay.
But I don't know
I'll be
what.
there. That's exciting.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know who else they could give us at Full Gear for him to then cash in the chip on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so next week in Toronto, with some of our Canadian friends in attendance, I believe. In Toronto, they're doing Moxley versus Hangman. Oh no,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. That's in 2 weeks in Cincinnati. My apologies. But the show, our Canadian friends are getting Jericho Danielson, so that'll fucking rule. But in 2 weeks, they're doing in Ohio, Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. I don't know. I don't know if I don't think Hangman goes over there, right? And Mox cashing it in will give him like nuclear heat, right? I mean, Does he need more heat? I don't know. But, it's possible he does it. But then if he does it, who's he going to wrestle at Full Gear? You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Right, I gotcha.
And if Moxley wins and he then cashed in at Full Gear, but that's the same problem with everybody. Who are they going to give you, Moxley versus who
Mhm.
at Full Gear? And then
Right.
he cashes it in because MJF is not the type of honorable, thief where he's going to tell you, I'm cashing it in. He's going to do it, right?
Right.
So, okay, if you don't do it in Cincinnati, I almost don't know how you do it at Full Gear because I don't know who you'd give Mox and I don't know who you'd give Hangman.
Sure.
And to make Hangman a paper champion just to get him to MJF, I don't think would work. So if they do go with MJF, it's just going to be interesting to see who they feed him for his first opponent.
Sure.
Because there's really sort of no build. I mean, he's already just done his thing with Wheeler.
Right.
Maybe Eddie, because Eddie's been sort of calling him out, but I just don't know
Right.
if that's the way to go. Who do you think his first challenger would be?
Who? MJF?
MJF. Yeah.
For what? Just in
If
general?
he wins the belt.
CM Punk.
Ugh.
Just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I mean, people would want to see that.
But we've seen it before, though.
Yeah, but you always want like a trilogy of matches.
Haven't we already had a trilogy?
With MJF?
Yeah.
They did what?
I thought it was 3 already.
Was that dog collar the third one?
I thought so.
I don't know. I feel
Someone
like
can fact check that for us.
it's
Right,
so late.
Savannah?
I can't even keep it straight. Well, either way.
Yeah, I thought there was a trilogy. I feel like that was kind of put to bed.
I mean, listen, we don't have to worry about it because I
No.
don't think we're ever seeing CM Punk in AEW again.
Adios. Adios, my friends. Cheers to that. Cheers to that straight edge savior.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what he used to call
Wow.
himself?
The straight edge savior. Yes.
Right?
That was the thing. Yeah. That was the thing.
As I'm drinking Prosecco.
Bauerhausen says Savannah is a vibe.
She is. She is. She's just chilling, living her best life while Mama's getting boozed up.
Gordon
Savannah.
Post said they did it one time in Chicago and the dog one time in Chicago and the dog collar match.
Okay, so it's only been 2.
So they could do a third one, but again, I don't think we're ever gonna get it. Sorry, people. I think
I don't
he's
really
done.
think it's necessary though. I mean, I think the dog collar match was pretty vicious enough to kind of like put that to bed.
How about this? Kyle K. Sparks is saying first MJF challenger. How about Darby Allin?
It'll be fun. I'd like that.
It would be. I just don't know how we get there because right now Darby's
Yeah.
sort of stuck in this mid card
Yeah.
purgatory.
Yeah.
We haven't seen any. Well, we have seen challengers for the TNT title, but
Mhm.
I don't think we're going to see any of the other smaller faces go up against Wardlow.
No.
So,
And you wouldn't. I'm assuming somebody like Kenny Omega wouldn't be, feasible.
for MJF,
Yeah.
I mean,
'Cause he's like in the trios thing,
yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
That doesn't matter to me, and I don't think it matters to them. I think, well, he's not in the trios thing anymore because they lost their
Well,
belts.
oh yeah, oops.
But I don't think people would hate seeing Kenny MJF. I think it's he's not I don't think he's going to be back from suspension for a long enough build to Full Gear. That's
Yeah,
just my
well,
opinion.
yeah. No, I agree. I thought you just meant in general would I like to see, not like logically.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those situations where it's like, who do you feed him? Because it's the same thing to me as having that chip, at
Mhm.
least to me. Now, when I talk about that, all I mean is, and I know we're way off on a tangent. I'll pull us back after this, but
I mean, it's wrestling related. It's not like about
no,
the
I
dog
know.
or something.
But what's tough about this, they're in sort of a tough spot because he's got this chip, and this is the reason I said like he can't be the guy to like, uh like if they were to bring him back at the for the pay-per-view and have him automatically put into the title shot, he couldn't lose it. He can't cash this chip in and not win the championship. They have to give it to him this time.
Right.
So what do you then do with his first challenger? Because he's not going to lose it. You can't
No.
take the belt off him that quick.
Like immediately. No, you can't.
So it's a weird spot. It's going to be interesting to see where this shakes out. Asian Joe does have a good point. It's obviously going to be the captain, Sean Dean. Captain is 2-0 against MJF. That is right.
Oh, true. True. That would be fun.
So let's move on. Excuse me. I should have
Excuse
muted my
you.
mic. I didn't have enough
Bless
time.
you.
We moved on to Tay Mello and Anna Jay versus Madison Rain and Sky Blue. Tay Mello and Anna Jay did come out with the win here. There was an attempt at the Queen Slayer. Sky Blue was able to avoid it for the first time, but Tay Mello kicked her in the side of the head, and then she couldn't escape the next Queen Slayer, and that's how Anna Jay and Tay Mello won that match. Now, Mrs. Money, I don't know what you thought about the match, but I told you the one thing that bothered me, and usually sort of like ring attire doesn't bother me. Tonight it did.
Today it
Because
really bothered you. Rubbed you the wrong way.
and I understood what you were saying, and you can give your point of view, but I didn't necessarily love it because it didn't match, and they didn't even use any of the things where I was like, okay, Anna Jay was red and pink, and Tay was like pink and blue. Like, to me, you can either be in the same color or opposing colors, right? So like if Tay's in blue and pink or blue with pink accents, then Anna could be in pink with blue accents. Like that would work for me. If they're not wearing the same colors, I know like Tay had butterflies, I think, on her
Mhm.
gear. Anna Jay had stars. Just put butterflies on both their gear. Link them together somehow. Even Tay had like piping or a necklace. Like she had certain things on her gear that were accented with cheetah print. So just put cheetah print on Anna Jay's. Like do something to connect them. That really bothered me tonight. I don't know why.
I don't know why, because it was similar cuts for the tops. Like I thought they looked great. They had similar, it was like the top was like similar enough and the bottoms were similar enough for me to know that like they're a team, and also their names were on their butts in the same font. So I kind of knew they were a thing.
Yeah, I just sometimes I'm not a big like ring gear bothers me stuff. I just wish because we've seen them wear the same gear before when they were wrestling as tag teams,
Mhm.
like with the Dark Order and stuff like that. Even though they weren't Dark Order themed, they were wearing pretty much matching gear. Excuse me. So I don't know why it bothered me so much tonight. But they come out with a win, and I guess they're going to continue as a tag team. I don't know. And I also don't know, by the way, I don't know what how do I put this nicely, Mrs. Money? I don't know what the big deal is about Sky Blue.
She's
Um
cute. I mean, that's what it is. She's cute.
Great. But I'm tired of hearing she's green, she needs more time in the ring, like all this stuff. You're in there with the trainer tonight. Some of it just looked terrible. I mean, she didn't
Yeah,
botch
it was a
stuff,
little. It just
but
some
there
of it
was
looked a little
just
sloppy.
yeah, it was sloppy and it really annoyed me. Um, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on because this puts us at the main event. I'm sorry. It was time for the main event as Mark Henry interviewed the Dark Order and Death Triangle. And then we got into the match. And a lot of people, Mrs. Money, thought that this was going to be the Dark Order's
This
night.
was it. This was gonna be it.
Because of the ties with Mr. Brody Lee and all that stuff. Plus, the mask match got canceled because of the backstage fight.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
You
that.
know, so people thought maybe they were going to get a reward here. Did
Nope.
not happen.
No, it did not happen.
Not gonna happen. And I'll
Yeah.
say this:
Bummer.
Pac gets a little help from Roosh and the LFI. They come out to help sort of distract the Dark Order. Roosh grabs the Timekeeper's hammer for the bell, and Pac takes it, smashes Reynolds with it in the face, and then he's able to lock in the Brutalizer for the win because it looks like Alex Reynolds has been passed out. So that was the end of Rampage, and then we go into Battle of the Belts, which we'll talk about in a minute. Mrs. Money, I don't know about you. This finish, they don't do it a lot, right? But
Right.
they just did this like 2 weeks ago with
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy, or
Right. Like,
3
come
weeks
on.
ago.
Yeah. Like,
Um,
we can do better.
yeah, I don't know why they're. I mean, listen, we'll talk about Pac again here momentarily. So I don't want to kind of give it all away, but this was essentially the second time that we've seen Pac and the match like this. They're telling some other story. Maybe he's doubting his skills or something like that, but
No,
I
he's just bad. He's just bad boy.
it just it didn't this doesn't work for me because they don't do it a lot. They usually do it,
Yeah.
you know, have good finishes. I mean, I get what they're
Yeah.
doing, we'll see sort of what happens in the future. What did you think about this match though? Did it disappoint? I mean, I think anytime you
Yeah.
put these
Of
guys
course
all
it
in
did.
a ring, they're going to show up.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like the Dark Order, like their time's come. Like, come on. Like, I want to see my guys get some belts around their waists, you know? That's my feeling. It's just that they've been together for so long, and have they even won a belt at any point? I don't even think they have held anything from what
Uh,
I remember, and I
we
just
would
feel
have to
like
look it up because I'm not googling anything at this
I
point.
can't.
It's
I
too
mean,
late.
you'll get mad at me if I get on my phone, so
No, I won't.
I'm not gonna look it up.
Um,
I'll just look at pictures of Tony Nese. You all
all
know me
right,
by now.
all
Um,
right.
just being honest, um, yeah, I feel like it's time for them to win something and not just kind of be, you know, there in the background as like, oh, is it, we're keeping this faction around because of Brody Lee. Like, come
Mhm.
on. You know what I mean? That's what it's
Yeah,
starting to kind of feel like, and I think they deserve better.
yeah. I think they took a big hit when they lost Dose. Stu
Yep.
Dose, Stu
Mhm.
Grayson,
Yeah.
and I think they took another hit when they lost Alan Angels.
Agreed. Agreed. That was a big and then Anna Jay too.
Yeah, I mean, Anna Jay wasn't doing a whole lot when she was in the Dark Order, but I think that's also you can't blame her for all that because she got hurt right at
No, I
during that
know.
period of time.
No,
So
but I'm saying that that's
yeah,
3 members that you're losing. That's, like, basically half of your crew gone, like, it was kinda leveled, and then who got
yeah.
hurt? Someone that got hurt, you know, like
Well, I mean, it was just Evil Uno to get uh, I think Preston Vance in the trio for the
oh,
titles,
got
right?
it, got it.
Um, so or no, I'm sorry. Vance got hurt to let Uno in. Uno got hurt to let Hangman in, right?
Okay,
So,
yeah.
um, yeah, it's I'm with you. They need something here, and I
Yeah,
think that I think you can give them the belt. Maybe they will get another shot at the belts. But a very interesting match. I mean, like I said, anytime you put Death Triangle and then the Dark Order guys in the ring across from one another, like this crazy shit's gonna happen.
yeah, they
So
work hard. Yeah, absolutely.
a lot of fun in the first hour. Second hour of the show is Battle of the Belts. So, Mrs. Money, we're going to take a short break here. I'm
Okay.
sure you know. Um, I'm sure you know that we are part of the Shining Wizard Network.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yes, and there are other shows. Some of them great, some of them not great. I wouldn't even
Okay,
put them as good or par. But
sure.
there are other shows that are part of the Shining Wizards Network. We're going to step aside so that you guys out there listening can hear about some of these other great shows that are part of the Shining Wizards Network, and we will be right back.
Everyone knows a lot of things can change in the span of 10 years, but when it comes to professional wrestling podcasting, one thing is still guaranteed. The Shining Wizards is the only place to get all the latest wrestling news, interviews with the greatest guests, and of course, tons of laughs in discussing the world of wrestling. The show is still available on Monday nights at 7 p.m. East on rantmradio.com and Rant Entertainment Media on the TuneIn app, and it's still available on all podcasting platforms. To check us out, head over to shiningwizards.com, where it's still wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
Horns up, everyone. One on the Shining Wizards Network. Be sure every Friday to check out Radioactive Metal. Radioactive Metal is one of the longest running podcasts on the interweb. And every week we bring you a fist full of metal, including interviews with all your favorite artists, discuss all the metal news, and feature the best tunes on the air today. So grab a Lemmy, join your cool Uncle Snowy and co-host Aaron in the pit.
Your recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting from the current to the way back. Join the impact player Phil Brea and the Portuguese Man of War Choppy for the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast. Live every week on rantemradio.com. Get all our episodes over at iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Audio Boom, Google Play, ShiningWizardsNetwork.com, and TurnbuckleThrowbacks.com.
Are you tired of being told what to think and believe by Hollywood elites and politicians who just don't care about you?
Tired of not getting the truth when you watch the news?
Tired of trying to figure out what pronoun to use?
Tired of mob mentality when all you want to do is think for yourself and make up your own mind?
That's where we come in. This is Justin.
And Vince.
Your host of Inconclusive Breakdown.
We are a weekly anti-PC podcast bringing you entertainment and current event news without any spin.
If you want to truly stay informed on what's going on in the world, then give us a listen every Sunday, anywhere you get podcasts, at least till Zuckerberg and Twitter Jack deplatform us.
And as always, we're proud members of the Shining Wizards Network.
Tired of the PC police telling you what you can and cannot say? Want a show that travels back to the 80s and 90s, where the badass hosts have beaten down cancel culture on 3 separate occasions and carried on to gloat about it? Since 2013, The Midnight Jury is that show. Travel back to the malls and arcades, pop in your VHS, and join us where the 80s and 90s return from the dead. Conan, tell them where to find us.
WLWstudios.com, home of the Midnight Jury podcast hosted by Midnight Mike and Calvin Brody.
Also available on all major podcast platforms via the Shining Wizards Network, and join in the conversation on Twitter at Midnight Jury.
What's up, wrestling fans? You want something awesome? Check out Wrestling Night in Canada here on the Shining Wizards Network. We're 3 Canadian metalheads uniting for the love of pro wrestling. Every episode we go over all the latest news and special events with the odd unique interview as well. So grab a cold one and check out Wrestling Night in Canada, eh?
We are back here on the Mark Order Podcast bonus episode after a supersized night of AEW action, having Rampage on from 10 to 11 and Battle of the Belts 4 from 11 to 12. So we talked about Rampage in the first half. We're going to talk about Battle of the Belts coming up now. But before we get there, Mrs. Money, I do want to remind people they can find us at Mark Order Pod on all of our social platforms. That's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. You can find us there. in any of those places. And we made it super easy for you. If you follow us on any of our social and you'd like to go add us to any or follow us on any other social platform, you can just go to our bio, click the link tree, and there are links to all of our other social channels to make it super easy for you to give us a follow or like or subscribe to the YouTube, things like that. The other thing we've made it super easy for you to do is to support us for free. There's nothing you have to do. You just got to go to our social platforms, click that link tree, and there is a button right at the top to request free Mark Order Podcast stickers. So if you do that, all you need to do is leave your full name, your mailing address, and the country you live in. So I'm sure it's going to the right place with the right postage. And I will personally send out some of these Mark Order Podcast stickers. Version 1, the square one, version 2, the circle one, and we're working on maybe a 3, but we didn't get rid of enough stickers yet, so we'll see what happens.
What kind of stamps do we have? We had otter stamps to share with our listeners, and I think my mom has Scooby-Doo stamps that she can share as well.
We have one otter sticker left. If you want the otter sticker, you better get your submission in now. And then it's just good old flag.
American flag. Good old America flag right there.
I'd rather have like lilacs or some shit.
Well,
but
I'll
anyway,
see what I can do at the post office.
I never ask. I'm just like, can I get a book of stamps? So like, here you go, loser. You're still mailing stuff? I'm like, yeah. People want stickers.
I don't think my mom requested the otters. I think they just gave her the otters. So we got very lucky that day.
Before you know it, we're going to be into Christmas, and it's just going to be Santa Claus.
Santa.
So.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's not. I'm just saying, before you know it, it won't be America. It'll be Santa.
Be Santa Claus, which is also America.
I guess so. So there you go, people. Make sure you get your free stickers. I'll send them out, and we thank you for your support. And thank you to everybody who's already gotten their stickers. We appreciate you reaching out and requesting them. Okay, let's jump into Battle of the Belts for Mrs. Money. They went straight into Battle of the Belts. Like, they did cut Rampage, and they came back with the graphic, and they did a quote-unquote open. But they went straight into their first match, and Pac did double duty right away.
Right away.
Pac did 20 minutes, I think, with Death Triangle in the trios match, and he comes back out. Well, not comes back out. He stayed in the ring while Trent made his entrance. And Trent got off to a hot start. This was for the All-Atlantic Championship. Trent got off to a really hot start, trying to, sort of grind away at Pac, who's already been going for 20 minutes. So they were really testing out the endurance. But as we get closer to the end, they're sort of trading, pinfalls. Pac is not able to keep Trent down. But Pac gets frustrated. He grabs the mic, he grabs the hammer again for the bell. He spikes Trent with it, and the referee doesn't understand how Trent is now sort of knocked out on the mat. And then, Pac is able to, get the brutalizer in for the win. And that's when Orange Cassidy comes out afterwards to chase Pac out of the ring. We do find out that next week in Canada, we're going to get Orange Cassidy versus Pac for the All-Atlantic Championship. So, I know we've seen these guys wrestle each other before. I think quite a few times now at this point.
Yeah.
But they're always fun. So I don't mind that match coming next week. I thought this match was very good, Mrs. Money.
I agree. I'd like to call this match the hot body versus hot body match because.
What about their faces, though?
Trent's like a 7 out of 10 for G. Like he's actually quite good looking in person. But Pac's got an ugly face. I'm so sorry if you're listening, you bastard. You got such an ugly face.
He's not listening.
You know what? I'd be really kind of happy if he was listening. He's like, I don't have an ugly face. That's how he talks.
Okay, that's fine. I was letting
think
you
to
get it
me,
in.
in my head, that's how he talks. But yeah, he just has an ugly head. His whole head. So
Well,
yeah, no,
I
it
mean,
was a fun match. Those guys can move, so it was fun.
I was gonna say, I mean, this is just another example of all the people who maybe forget how good a wrestler Trent is, because we've
He's
seen what
great.
Pac can do. I mean,
Yeah.
but Trent, when he came back, we saw him have a series of matches where he looked really good, and they sort of cooled him off now. But boy, this was a great showing. A great showing for Trent.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'd love to see him win a belt sometime soon. I would have been happy if he won it tonight. I didn't think he would. I feel like that's going to be on Pac for a while. No offense to Orange Cassidy this coming Wednesday, but I feel like that's just going to stay on him for a little bit. But yeah, it was a fun match. I enjoyed it.
And again, sort of this schmozzy finish again, I think because they ended this the same way. Now, Kyle K. Sparks, I should call this out. Kyle K. Sparks says that he popped for the finish because it was the beat for beat Randy Savage over Tito Santana at the Boston Garden in '86. So that's a pretty obscure. No, it's not obscure, but it is from quite some time ago. What I'll say is, while I didn't like it in the 6-man match or the trios match, once I saw him do it again here and sort of like he used it as a last resort, I think they're trying to tell a larger story, right? Like the way Pac used it here tonight, on this match, before he picked it up, he sort of like thought about it and he was frustrated, like, how come I just can't keep him down? Maybe to me felt like he was thinking, can I beat anybody legitimately anymore? Like, and he's been using the hammer. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this. But
I just
I
think
didn't,
it's because he's bad. I don't know. That's what I
he
like to
is
think.
a
I don't think he's like
bastard.
questioning his abilities. He's just a bastard. I think that's all it is he's just a bastard. And he's like, I've got this hammer. I'm gonna smash your face. The end. I've got a hot body. Thank you. Good night.
By the way, nobody listening can see. Every time I take a drink, I'm turning and sipping
Gulping.
from the bottle. It looks like product placement. I swear to God, if Gatorade Zero wants to send me some free shit, I will certainly drink it. But
Listen, if La Marca Prosecco wants to send me any free shit, I'm here for it.
I just realized it looks like I'm just trying to like drink with the logo on.
Just chilling. You're just
Anyway,
looking at
yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know. We're gonna have to figure out what the story is that they're telling. My guess is he's probably going to try to do the same thing to Orange Cassidy, and I see other people saying that in the chat.
Yeah. I think he'll be caught doing it. I feel like Orange Cassidy will be like, no, no, no.
Yeah,
You
fool me
know what I
once,
mean?
shame on you. Fool me twice,
Right. Like,
don't
oh,
mess
I
with
got you.
Texas.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens in Canada next week. Another great match added to that card for the Canadian fans, so that should be a lot of fun. We do get a segment backstage with Jericho, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker being interviewed. And they say it's time for Daniel Garcia to come back to the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yes.
Sometimes the little birdie needs to fly the nest. And Jericho's bringing his Lionheart he says he's bringing his Lionheart persona to defeat Bryan Danielson in next week's Ring of Honor World Championship match on Dynamite. So again, I think that is... I think maybe we're going to see something here in this match. Obviously, Danielson won't be, or I'm sorry, not Danielson, Daniel Garcia won't be too far behind, but I don't think he's going to get involved in any way that would cost Danielson the match. But the Lionheart's a great touch, I think, for the Canadian fans to see the Lionheart from Jericho. I think it's a really nice touch. So should be a lot of fun. We also get Claudio Castagnoli saying that he's going to be waiting for whoever wins the Ring of Honor world title match between Jericho and Danielson, because I guess he wants it back, just like
He
any
wants his
champion.
rematch, of course. Of course.
Okay, Mrs. Money, this was my point of the night.
This is Tony Nese is to Gina as Willow is to Anthony.
We get Jade Cargill against Willow Nightingale for the TBS championship. The crowd is way into Willow. Like she's so over. And to me, Mrs. Money, it reminded me of the last time we saw Willow in Ring of Honor, like in Baltimore. Where she was going for the women's title. It just seemed like the crowd, and then I think Roxy won it, but it seemed like the crowd really wanted her to win that match. They were totally behind her, and she didn't,
Right.
And I think that's sort of what we're getting out of the crowd tonight. They really love her. They want her to win. They want her to do well.
Yeah. She's so much fun. I feel like if I was a wrestler, I would be very much that kind of like personality. You don't have to yawn. It's okay.
I can listen. It's starting to get late, and I know you usually don't.
It's very late.
Usually don't yawn on the Wednesdays.
No, I'm usually fast asleep by now.
Oh, you are well asleep. Savannah is sleeping.
Hi, you awake? Oh no, she's up. Oh, Savannah.
What did you text her? You
belly.
up?
Savannah? No, I'm just rubbing her belly.
No, you said you up. Like a text message.
No,
and then she rolled over and showed you her belly. Ooh.
No, I text Tony Nese that. I say, you up? I got vitamin questions.
Let me tell you something. If you ever rub my belly while we're sleeping, I'll roll over and let you keep going. So me and Savannah are very much in the same place.
It's a life tip right there. I had no idea.
I'll give you the belly.
But yeah, no, I really enjoy watching Willow. She's great. She's fun.
Well, she takes out the baddies on the outside at one point with a dive through the ropes. Looks like I don't remember which one of the baddies, but somebody looks like they got kicked in the face inadvertently. That looks like it hurt. And Jade is actually able to sort of dodge that bullet. She's able to pick up Willow and drop her on the ring steps face first. So there is a size difference between the two. They did, Jade did a good job of looking sort of like the beast who, sort of won't be stopped. I will say this, Willow came very close in this match, close to the point where I was like, this is it. They're going to do this. And it would have been sort of great.
Awesome. Yeah.
She did not. Unfortunately, Jade is able to sort of catch Willow and hit her with Jaded. That was it.
Kind of a quick. I feel like the match was too quick.
It honestly was
on purpose. It felt very quick to me. Maybe because a lot of it was picture in picture.
They did picture in picture. They did full cutaway. It was a women's match, so just what you'd expect. But I will say this: it didn't seem short to me. It seemed long, but not. That's also not a bad thing. It seemed long in the sense that there was a match to watch. It wasn't like a squash, but it wasn't long that I was bored.
No, I agree. It did feel kind of brief.
So the big news is that after the match, Vicky Guerrero comes out doing the excuse me gimmick. Jade is quite distracted, and that allows Nyla to show up and steal the TBS title and run away like the Hamburglar himself. And that was sort of it. We haven't seen Nyla in forever. She runs in, she steals the title. And my point was, okay, so what? Because she's not going to fucking win that title legitimately. Because, listen, if they give it to Nyla Rose, I don't know what's going on anymore. Because Nyla never wins these types of matches, and she puts herself sort of in this position. And it would just seem weird to me going from heel to heel, right? Like usually it
switches back and forth.
Sort of switches, right?
I think the only person it could go to would be Saraya, right?
See, they're lining this Saraya thing up with, Britt Baker. So Saraya's off this picture. I think, unfortunately, excuse me, they were lining up Chris Statlander for this belt, and then she got hurt. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think it is unfortunate that, you know, things sort of like, you know, all these plans just sort of got messed up.
Right.
So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, um, after Stat goes down, you would think, okay, maybe it's going to be Ruby Riott. Well, she had her fucking nose broken.
You mean Ruby Soho?
Who did I say? Ruby Riott? Yes, Ruby
Yeah.
Soho. Sorry.
Come on, Anthony.
There's a thing on the side of my screen that says, you know, SmackDown. So I got SmackDown on the brain.
Tisk tisk.
I'm sorry. It is also 1:12 in the morning.
Eastern
So
Standard Time.
Eastern Standard. That's right. So, yeah, I don't know who they're gonna get to take it off Jade. I honestly thought that this was probably the next closest. If it wasn't gonna be Athena, maybe it's gonna be Willow because everybody's so behind her. You know, yeah, it just wasn't. I mean, maybe someday. She definitely has to be with this company in some fashion, though, because
some
she's
capacity.
there
Yeah.
too much. They just haven't made anything sort of public about it.
She needs the graphic for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even if they're not going to sign her to AEW, she needs to be locked into Ring of Honor.
Something.
At a minimum.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. I didn't think she was going to get it tonight because I feel like 39-0 is kind of a weird, like to be like 39-1 would be kind of weird. I feel like she needs to get to 40 at least.
And then lose it?
Yes.
So she's 39-0 now.
Yes.
So she'll
maybe
beat
2 more
Nyla,
matches.
She'll beat
and then
Nyla and
maybe
somebody will take it from her?
Maybe. I don't know.
You don't think she'll get to 50?
Oh.
50 is the rounder number. You know what I mean?
It
Like when
is.
you think
Maybe
of
45.
Mm.
I don't know.
45
50
is a
seems a
weird
little
number.
extreme. 50 seems a little extreme though.
Yeah, but like if you're not gonna do it after 25, you're gonna do it at 50.
I don't know. That just seems too high to me. I'm gonna play by Price is Right rules and say 45.
Not $1, Bob?
Ding. No. No.
Well, it remains to be seen. But again, the big thing I think from my perspective of this match is, you know, Willow looked good and Jade honestly looked good. You know,
Yeah, she did.
so I thought this was a successful match. It's just like I said, when Athena didn't win, what the fuck is going on? What are the plans? I don't know if there's any plans.
Well,
So,
do you want to take a moment to think about your girls before we move on to a
No.
final match? No, you're good. You don't
I'm
need
good.
you don't need a niece moment.
No, I'm good.
No,
Some of
okay.
us are professionals.
I'm not.
There it is. There's that.
There it is.
You're
There
thinking
it
about
is.
niece.
I am. I totally am.
So before we get into the main event, we get a couple segments here, Mrs. Money. There's Matt Hardy is backstage with and he's there with Ethan Page and Stokely Hathaway. They're arguing about contract tampering, and Stoke says, well, I've got, you know, Jose's tablet with some evidence on it, and they had a video of Matt Hardy meeting in the stairwell or something like that with Private Party. And Matt says it's not tampering. You know, if you don't back off, I'm going to delete you. So it looks like maybe we're starting up some sort of program with Ethan Page.
And the mower of lawns?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to tell because every once in a while, Gina, he will throw out the, you know, delete. But it won't,
I love
like,
that. It
stick.
makes me so happy.
So we'll see what happens, but this contract tampering thing won't go away. It's very funny because it sort of goes with the whole WWE thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And this kind of reminds me, when is Brother Nero coming back, aka Jeff Hardy, aka do we not know?
We don't know.
Okay.
But I think I actually have something in news and notes before we log off. So
Oh, okay. All right.
we'll
More
touch
to
on
come. All right. Well, we'll let the listeners wait for that one.
Yeah, stay tuned. And then after that, Mrs. Money, Hook is interviewed about what was inside the Trustbusters envelope.
Yeah. I love
And then,
Davari. It's like I would open that. He seems like a great guy.
well, he pulled out the envelope. It was unopened, and he
Ripped
rips
it
it in
up.
half and walks off.
Rip it to shreds, not even just in half, to shreds. Like, Hook, my buddy
Well,
Davari saying hello. My best friend Sunny Kiss. Come on.
he tore it in
My
half.
bestie. Yeah, Savannah, don't look at me like that.
Tore it in half and dumped it. So we'll see what's going on with Hook and the Trustbusters in the coming weeks. Oh, big stretch.
Big stretch from
And
Savannah.
she's gone.
She's gone to bed. Bye-bye, baby. Good night, baby.
So we're finally at our main event for Battle of the Belts. It's FTR versus the Gates of Agony. For those who don't remember, Gates of Agony were part of Tully Blanchard Enterprises or whatever they were calling it.
R.I.P.
And now they're bought out and Prince Nana owns them. So going back and forth in the early goings of this match, looked like maybe Gates of Agony. I was going to say Life of Agony. Sounds like maybe Gates of Agony are going to be able to pull this out, but FTR battles back and they're able to actually defeat the Gates of Agony. So that's something else we're going to talk about in a moment here. But basically, after the match, Brian Cage and the Embassy run out to help the Gates of Agony beat up FTR after the match.
Yep.
Wardlow then comes out for the save. The numbers are a lot, so Samoa Joe comes out and cleans house and clears the ring. Joe and FTR stand tall at the end of the show, and that's it. So here's the gripe again, Mrs. Money.
Oh, I've got a gripe too. Hold on.
Go ahead.
You can go first, though.
No, I'm
Listen.
probably going to say it. Go ahead.
Listen, Wardlow and Samoa Joe look weird in regular people clothes.
That wasn't the gripe I thought you were going
That
with,
is
but go ahead.
huge gripe. They belong in their wrestling gear all day, every day. They need to go to the grocery store like that, the post office like that, wherever like that. They look so weird in like polos and jeans. That's just it's very strange to me. It doesn't work. That's my gripe. Don't stop showing up in regular people clothes. Just wear your wrestling gear. Thanks.
Well, I told you the odd thing is with Samoa Joe in regular clothes, I feel like he looks I don't know, portlier than he does in
Very much so.
in his wrestling shorts and no shirt.
Right, he doesn't look as intimidating. You know?
Yeah, I guess
At all.
so.
You know, but I feel like when he's in his wrestling stuff, I'm like, "Oh, this guy's gonna whoop my ass. I'm not gonna mess with him."
You're right, especially Wardlow. That's
Same
pull
with
the
Wardlow.
strap
Like he was in like a purple polo. It's like, "Oh, he seems like a nice guy." You know, but when he's in his like onesie, it's like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, it's all business.
Don't beat me. I'm sure he's very nice. If he's listening, I'm sure you're a very nice man. Please don't whoop my ass. Thanks.
So the gripe that I have is this is the second Battle of the Belts in a row where nothing has changed hands.
Wah, wah, wah. Waste of my night. Could have been seeing Alice in Chains instead.
We didn't have tickets, and it was sold out.
Could have. No, it wasn't.
Shh.
That's a lie.
Sold
No,
out.
we had other plans anyway for the night, but I'm just disappointed that this is another Battle of the Belts where no belts have changed and I had to miss a really fun show because of it. I think that's bullshit. I feel like if you have these, something's got like, come on, give me one change.
That's why I thought Willow could have been the change.
Yeah, I was hoping for just something. It's just, what's the point of having these if nothing's gonna change? You know,
Yeah.
you're just making me mad because you know what? I don't want to watch the next one because the past two, nothing's changed. So why would I want to watch another one?
Yeah.
It
No,
just makes no sense. And then I'm gonna get on air again with some of our lovely friends that are hanging out with us at 1:00 in the morning, listening to me be annoyed by it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if there was room anywhere tonight, it was definitely the Pac match and, the Jade Cargill match where I thought belts were changing hands. At no point did I think FTR were dropping the belts to Gates of Agony.
Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna happen. Maybe a more established team would have,
could be
grabbed those, but I didn't see it happening.
Well, It was a pretty good show, though. At least the matches they were putting
It was
on were
fun,
entertaining.
but but you know me, I'm the type that's like I like more matches, and I felt like 3 wasn't enough for the hour. I don't know. I
Well,
wanted more.
that's the problem, though, because I don't think you can squeeze any more title matches into the hour.
I know, but I
Well,
like quantity. Maybe that's why I liked Rampage tonight. There were a lot of matches, so it was fun for me. I'm not a big fan of the dialogue. I kinda tend to zone out during that stuff.
well, the interesting thing is that Rampage had 4 matches.
I
Battle
thought
of
they
the Belts
had
had
more than
3.
that. I thought it was like 6.
No,
I thought it was more. The poster looked I'm gonna check. The poster looked like it was more. Maybe it was like because it said things like, "We hear from so and so."
I'm looking now. So
I'm checking now
the
too.
trios match, and you had the trios championship match as 2. Sorry, I was trying to count this. 1, 2, 4. Yeah, my
I thought
screen.
there was more.
Nope.
It seems like
S-
so many more.
4, and then 3 on Battle of the Belt. So either way, listen. The most important thing is that I think it was entertaining, but I think
We all
we're on
had
the
a good
same.
time.
I think we're on the same page though. Is if you're doing these Battle of the Belts, um, you know, at some point you're going to have something change, um, you know, during the show because then people just aren't
Yeah.
going to
What's
tune
the
in.
point of tuning in if I know nothing's gonna change? It's just a for funsies match. That's just
Yeah,
silly to me. Give me one thing to change, you know? And
yeah.
the fact that it happened 2 times in a row, it's like, come on. It just feels weak. I don't know. Like, are they trying to squeeze these in for like contractual obligations? That's what it feels like.
What things? These
The
shows?
Battle of the Belts, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean they signed on to do like additional quarterly content or something like that. So yeah, I mean I'm sure they're getting paid X amount of dollars.
But
So
like make it worth my time.
no, I don't disagree. We're on the same page. It's just when you look at maybe the hook for this show as being a way to pull in new fans, if somebody's like, "Oh, Battle of the Belts," that means like,
Shit's going down. That's what I
right.
see
And then
it as.
nothing
And
happens.
shit does not go down. It's like, wah, wah, wah. I don't know. It was just disappointing to me. I was like, I could have gone to bed.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
just me. Like, I could have gone to bed, but I mean, not that I'm not having a great time drinking prosecco at 1 o'clock in the morning with you and all of our friends. It's
true
just
that.
like I could have been asleep at 10:30 after I saw my boyfriend.
Yeah, after you blew your load.
Yeah, I did. I totally
Hey,
did. What? I can't say that now?
no, you can.
I
Um,
totally did. Ah!
all right, let's check
Jelly
in and
beans!
on some of the sort of notes over the past couple days since we talked Wednesday.
Like the gossip?
Yeah, just news and notes, things going on in AEW. So, some news and notes. There are reports that the Sammy Guevara Andrade situation is seen as disrespectful to veterans like Jericho,
Drama.
Danielson, and Moxley because all of them worked really hard after the All Out brawl to get the locker room on the same page, and this incident puts the roster back in a bad light.
Mhm.
There are also
Just like any
people,
other company, think about your
yeah,
job, you know?
yeah. There were also people. It was reported from DAZN, DAZN. That like fight,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah. Dazine or
Some
something.
backstage were reportedly upset that Tony Khan didn't send Guevara home along with Andrade after the alleged, and I say alleged fight because some more news came out.
Yes, I heard something too.
So, Wrestling Observer, there are definitely two totally different stories about what happened, though many in AEW have disputed the TMZ version and noted that if it was true, it's very hard to believe Sammy would have worked the main event. While Andrade was sent home, the other side of the story has to come out.
Right.
Also, during the interview with Maslucha that stirred up the issues with Sammy, Andrade said Charlotte Flair is taking time off of the E for personal reasons. So, should be interesting to see what happens there. But the other sort of thing is that on Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer, so take this all with many grains of salt. He said Andrade is actively trying to be fired. There's a few people, and it's not that many, like 3 that want to leave AEW, and Andrade is one of them. Let me see here. And that he also said that Andrade was waiting in the hallway. I'm sorry, let me back up. He said both men were talked to on Tuesday. They were told no fighting. And Andrade was told that you're not going to get fired if you fight, but you will be sent home. And Andrade said, don't worry, nothing's going to happen. There's going to be no fighting. Sammy said the same thing. Nothing's going to happen. They had security there. Everybody was warned ahead of time. And then Andrade was waiting in the hallway. He got 2 punches in before it was broken up, and Sammy didn't fight back. That's the rumor.
That's the rumor, which is why apparently Sammy wasn't sent home, but Andrade was.
And Andrade threw 2 punches, and then it was broken up immediately by people who were there, people who saw it. And the general consensus from the people who witnessed the altercation is that Andrade hit him. Sammy didn't hit him. Andrade was sent home. Sammy wasn't sent home, and Sammy didn't do anything wrong. It was basically a blindside sucker punch.
Sure.
And that Sammy was talked to, and hopefully these situations don't happen again. This was Andrade's way out. And it's the argument of if a guy doesn't want to be there, why become a cancer in the locker room? You know what I mean? So
I know, but who would you rather have in the locker room if you had to choose between the two?
I don't know. It seems like Sammy, stir some shit up, but Andrade also didn't have to mention Sammy in the thing that he did. So
right. It's like who yeah. You know what I mean? Like giant douche or turd sandwich. Like who's the winner here?
True that.
I don't know. It's just funny because Sammy's been in so much crap. Remember like the Sasha Banks thing, like way back when? It's just like I don't know how many more chances he can get.
Yeah, I said it on Wednesday. You think that you would learn from these things, and he's not a kid anymore. He's an adult.
Yeah, he's not a child. So it's just interesting. It'll be interesting to see like how much shit people will put up with before they're just like, you know what? You're really not that great. Like deuces. So
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
The other thing that came up is that Bandito signed a full-time contract with AEW.
Oh, okay. Congrats to Bandito. Does that mean he's all elite, or is he just signed a contract?
I don't remember if he got the graphic, but he did sign a full-time contract. That's the report, and that it was previously indicated on Wrestling Observer that the E also had interest in signing Bandito. So it looks like this could be a win for the E, or for the AEW.
For the AEW, yeah.
A loss for the E and a win for AEW. Excuse me. Had it backwards.
Oh, the E. No, you got it. You're good.
Julia Hart announced her engagement.
Yes, I saw. Mazel.
She was on the AEW Unrestricted podcast, and through a transcription, she said that she was engaged to Lee Johnson, who is out of action due to injury.
I saw that. I gotta Google his picture. Is he hot?
Lee Johnson, I don't know. I haven't seen him.
Is he hotter than Juice Robinson?
Yes.
Whatever his name is. Okay. Good for him. What's his name? Lee Johnson?
Lee Johnson. Big Shotty Lee. She said, it's honestly great working with Lee Johnson. We're also, actually, I should correct you, we're engaged. Now it sounds weird saying boyfriend. I'm like, what? He's my fiance.
Oh, he's cute. Okay. I'm into
Nobody
it.
really knows that, but we also don't care, but we also didn't make a huge post about it. She also said, work and life is real. We have a good separation of it, and yeah, he's the best. I don't know. I just couldn't ask for anyone better. He's my dream man. He is everything I could ask for in a guy, so he's great. I can't wait for him to come back. So Mazel Tov.
I say
to
that stuff
Julie.
about you too when you go to work. I say, can't wait for him to come back. He's the best.
Oh, all right. That's nice.
It's true. It's true.
There was an interview that TK did with Ariel Helwani.
Who's that?
Ariel Helwani is a media person, like a writer, interviewer. He used to do a lot of UFC stuff, and then I think he
Okay.
lost that gig, and now he does pretty much like any sort of like fighting thing, and it includes wrestling.
Okay.
So TK did a 77-minute interview that went on the internet last night. I think it's on Ariel Helwani's YouTube. And he refused to answer several of the questions that hit or several of the questions. Some of the topics that he didn't want to talk about were the status of CM Punk in the Elite following All Out, MJF's contract, Soraya's ability to wrestle, talks with free agent Wyndham Rotunda, that's Bray Wyatt, and even his reaction to seeing Cody Rhodes back in the E. So a few things that I noted from that were he said at one point, I think AEW Dark was the premier tryout system in America. There are plenty of people who would tell you that the E was recruiting off AEW Dark during the pandemic. And if anybody says that's not true, whatever, you're full of shit. Let's see.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. He was also asked if, Triple H, Steph McMahon, and Nick Khan are the right people to lead the WWE moving forward. And he said, I don't know. Time will tell. It's a really interesting time in wrestling business, though. Things happen fast. So maybe we're still competing and nobody's saying we're competing, huh?
No, we're not competing. We're all friends here. Right?
That's right.
Is that what it is? We're all friends or no? There's just no competition at all. There is no spoon.
I think, I wasn't thinking about it that way. I don't think they're all friends. I think there's competition.
No, I think to the WWE, they're like, oh, there is no spoon.
Oh, I thought you were talking the other way. Oh, yeah, the other way.
No.
They're like, there's on the
no-
outside, there's no
nothing.
competition, but on the inside, they're like, there's competition.
There's competition.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It might not be, WWE status competition, but it's still competition.
That's very true.
You know?
He also said that he was only going to start doing AEW Dynamite if it aired on Tuesday or Wednesday nights. He said those were the only days I was going to do it because I couldn't do any other day. Friday I could also do, but I didn't think it made sense unless it was where Rampage is. So he didn't think it would make sense to do it on a Friday at 10 o'clock. He said, I also don't think that should be where the first show we did lives. I thought that made sense for a second show. So that's exactly what they got. Let's see what else here. And he kind of goes on to talk about a number of other stuff. But it is up online. You can listen to it via Ariel Helwani's, I think, YouTube page. Yes. So take a look. Sounds like a pretty wild interview.
Sounds like he doesn't say much if he's not answering a lot of those questions that people want answers to.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not going to listen. It sounds like all the stuff I want to know is not even addressed. So what's the point?
Well, I can tell you this is that according to Dave Meltzer, I couldn't find the name. Saraya is obviously cleared.
Yes, we saw that on Wednesday.
Yes. So I was just going to say, after what she did on Dynamite, she seems clearly, she has been cleared in some capacity.
Right.
Maybe just little brawling stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Maybe not like a full match, but to like be like, just like
basic
stuff.
That's right. The other thing is you asked about Jeff Hardy before. PW Insider pushed back on the rumor Jeff Hardy's returning to AEW soon. They note that Hardy is, quote, not expected to return from his suspension until his legal matters are cleared up, and that he's shown he can maintain sobriety.
I hope he can get better.
So do I.
Yeah.
Now, I know I said that Bandito signed a full-term deal, and I figured maybe somebody in the chat would be like, wait a minute.
I think everybody's asleep in the chat. I haven't
It's
seen
all right.
anything since 1:24, which is understandable. It's 1:37. It's late, very
Well,
late. But it's Friday. You guys should be up and partying, right?
in an interview with Mott's Lucha, Bandito turned around and said he's still in talks with AEW, but he's also received an offer from the E. So who knows?
Well, excuse me.
The reason I brought that up in two spots is because one was from a couple days ago saying he signed a full-time deal, and this was from like yesterday.
Okay.
So stay tuned on Bandito. And it was also mentioned by Meltzer that Takeshita, I got his name right. Takeshita should be back in AEW in a couple weeks. I know he went back to Japan.
I saw that too.
That will be good because he really got the fans, behind him in some of his final matches in that last run with AEW. Last piece of news, and Asian Joe put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's a good one. I was going to mention it.
It came out tonight, like right before the shows, that John Moxley signed a 5-year extension. And Tony Khan went on to say, and there was a press release. They wanted to talk a little bit about the extension, but the press release says Tony Khan announced that AEW World Champion John Moxley has signed a 5-year contract extension that ensures that one of professional wrestling's top stars will remain in AEW through 2027 while expanding his responsibilities to include mentoring and coaching talent. Moving forward, Mox will work exclusively for AEW and its international partners, including New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he is a 2-time IWGP US heavyweight champion. He's had a crazy run in 2022. He's got the Blackpool Combat Club. I think that this is a well-deserved extension. But I think they also need to ensure that they're sort of keeping him here and keeping him happy.
Absolutely.
Now, the question from Asian Joe, along with his comment, was, do you think it'll be his final contract as a full-time performer? Well, I'm going to
He'll be in his early 40s. I just did a wiki.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, he's turning 37 in December. He's a hard 37 because we're not much older.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, Mox. You've lived a hard life. But he'll be in his early 40s in 5 years. And I feel like, I think Claudio was in his 40s now, and he's still looking spry and doing work. So, never say never, but I feel like
is hard to
someone maybe
tell.
like Mox, he's kind of like hard on his body. In his wrestling style, he's always gushing blood. So I wonder if maybe, sorry, my computer's spazzing out. I wonder if maybe, by 5 years, it's like, you know what, I'm going to wrap it up because it's like my body can't take this abuse anymore,
Yeah.
Just with his style of wrestling, it's not, as clean and as technical as Claudio, or anyone in that age bracket.
Yeah, I think my whole thing is I just don't know. It's hard to tell these days because I think, 10 years ago, you'd probably be like, yeah, that's it. Like, he's going to be past 40. There's no way he can keep going. But, like, look at Jericho, right? Look at
Jericho's
Sting.
in his 50s. Yeah.
Sting
is in his 60s, right?
Yeah. And Sting's not wrestling every night.
I know. I'm still looking it up, though. Sting wrestler. Here we go.
Sting is definitely in his 60s.
Sting is 63.
Yeah. So I don't know if this will be his last as a full-time performer. Maybe he'll start scaling back, but he'll still be a mentor and I don't know, sort of like locker room big brother and not the not Big Brother. That means he's spying on people, but you know what I mean. Like he'll be like somebody who can mentor people, I think, and sort of be there to kind of coach them through. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll scale back his wrestling and he'll focus on that stuff more. But
Yeah.
time will tell. Either way, it's a good thing that they've got him around for the next 5 years.
And just to put into perspective, Chris Jericho, I just looked up on Wikipedia. Next month, he will be turning 52.
Crazy.
I hope to look that good when I'm 52.
I hope to just be here where I'm
To just move like that, and to rock the shit out of a sequin blazer like that
That's
when
right.
I'm 52.
With no
Like
shirt underneath.
nothing. With no shirt. I know.
My goodness.
I hope to be like that. Yeah, I hope to be like that at 39.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. All right. Well, Mrs. Money, that's really the end of the news and notes section of this program.
Okay.
So we're gonna wrap it up here, but before we go, why don't you plug anything you want to plug, any of your handles? I know you do some photography on the side. Why don't you plug some of this stuff?
I do. You can follow me on Instagram at GlitterGina just because I feel like I post there the most. I do photography under at Gina Rossinello Photo, but if you follow me at GlitterGina, you'll see the most up-to-date stuff on me and my life, and I do post some of my concert photography. Fun fact, I have not shot a show in a year now, which is really depressing. So I have to get my ass back in gear and start doing that again. But I do shoot shows. If you have a band in the New York, New Jersey tri-state area that you would like photographed, I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Probably for free because I don't make money doing this. I just enjoy doing it very much so. Aside from that, if you want to look hot like I do, sign up to 450 Fit. It's not an ad. It's working for me. It's been a really good program, and yeah, Tony's been awesome. So if you're looking to make a change to your physical form, go for it. But that's it. Anthony's falling asleep, so
I'm not
I'm
falling
gonna
asleep.
call it.
I was just like, weird you're plugging Tony Nese's thing.
What I'm just saying, it's working for me, and I feel like it's something I want to share with people because people say to me like, "OMG, you look so hot," and I'm like, "Well, thank you very much. I'm working very hard, and this is how I'm working very hard." So if any of you watching or listening are wondering why I look so hot, I'm just sharing why I look so hot.
Very
Genetics and
true.
450 Fit. It's two small things.
Boom. Those
Yeah,
two things.
just those two things.
So
What about you, Aunt Money?
I don't have anything except Wednesday nights, the Mark Order podcast, when we do our regular show following Dynamite, where we talk, Dynamite's Rampage, quick Rampage recap, break down all of Dynamite and everything else that's going on in the world of AEW. So make sure you catch us every Wednesday at 10:15 following Dynamite. However, this past week they went to 10:15, so we started at 10:30. So we're like 15 minutes behind the live shows. The other thing is, we want to thank, or I want to tell everybody you can follow us at Mark Order Pod, on our socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. And if you want the stickers, click the link for the free Mark Order Podcast stickers in our link tree in the bio. Give us your full name, your mailing address, and the country you live in, because I need to make sure I'm putting the right postage on it. And I will send out some of these nifty stickers that I'm holding in my hand right here.
Otter stamps.
What's that?
Otter stamps.
I'm telling you, I'm down to one otter stamp. Next person gets it. The other thing I want to say is I want to thank everybody who is watching along tonight live. You guys
For
are
real. You guys are the
definitely
real MVPs. For real.
some night owls. Asian Joe, who's not even on fucking Mountain Time, is
He's
hanging
on
out
Eastern
super
time
late.
partying after going to a football game.
He's riding that
Party
high of a 1-point
animal.
win. That's right.
Party
Asian
animal.
Joe, David Bauerhausen, Gordon Post, Kyle K. Sparks. I know that we had a couple others sort of hanging out up towards the start of the night. Rob Humphrey, a whole bunch. Thank you for chatting along. and for always being cool with each other in the chat.
For
We
real.
appreciate you. And if you are listening to us later in podcast form, we also appreciate you guys listening to us in podcast form. Be sure, if you're listening on any podcast network, to give us a like, a follow, subscribe, rate, review, whatever you can do. It all helps us with the podcasting side. But we do suggest you try watching us in a video format. And if you do, you can go over to our YouTube, subscribe, set up your alerts, whatever you need. But all of these shows are in the archives for you to go back and watch. You can watch all of our bonus shows. We have different playlists set up. We've got our weekly shows. So check it out all there. And yeah, I think some of the other knuckleheads that are normally here, like, Kate's in 8 different places throughout the week, so you can follow her on social, but I keep forgetting what her handles are, like, Miss Kate Fabe or something like that. I don't know. Check out her schedules. Ryan's only tweeting under @MarkOrderPod, so keep up with us there. I'm at AntMoney on Twitter. I don't do too much there. At AntMoney247 on Instagram, so you can feel free to follow me there. But I don't think I'm terribly interesting. So and like I said, if you want to book some sort of personal meet and greet, just go through Mrs. Money
at Glitter Gina. I will make it happen.
There you go.
We are in the tri-state area. We are more than happy. If you'd like to pay for us to travel to where you're located, especially if it's somewhere tropical, we'll be more than happy to meet you somewhere like Hawaii or Fiji or something. But also more than happy to grab a drink with you in New Jersey or New York or Pennsylvania, wherever.
Yeah, if you want to fly us up to Toronto to watch the show next week, although I don't have a passport, but
I have a passport that's valid, so I'd be more than happy to join you. Yeah, or
Mrs. Money will work that deal.
Yeah, just pay for the gas. I'll drive too. I'll drive. It's okay. It's an 8-hour drive. We can do that. We did 12 to Chicago.
Yeah, and that was only because we couldn't fly. If we could have flown, I would have flown. I'm
just saying, 8 is better than 12.
All right, I guess so.
And we can stop at Niagara Falls.
True. So yeah, your personal appearances, hit up Mrs. Money. You want to book me on a podcast, book me through Mrs. Money. Do whatever you need to do. She's my publisher.
You book me on your podcast too, but I have nothing of use to say.
Unless it's about Tony. She's got nothing.
That's right. Unless it's Tony time. I got nothing else to say.
Oh boy. All right, everybody, we're wrapping it up. Like I said, tune in on Wednesday nights, the Mark Order Podcast normal night, for our breakdown of Dynamite and everything AEW. I will see you then, Mrs. Money. Always a pleasure. I'll see you momentarily when I come back into the room.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for putting up with my bullshit. I appreciate it, and that's for everybody. So thanks.
And we'll see you guys Wednesday nights. Mrs. Money, we'll see you for the next special bonus show.
I'll see you in the chat. I'll see you on the Discord. I'll be there.
See you in the Discord.
Yeah,
that's right. So thanks again, everybody. We will talk to you on Wednesday night for the Mark Order Podcast. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I don't know. Get some sleep.
Yeah, go to bed, everybody.
This concludes the Mark Order Podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.